Why not just send it? That's a question I hear a lot of times. And how do I know if I can roll a step or if I have to drop it? These are the questions I'm going to answer in this video. Hi, I'm Roxy and I've been a full-time mountain bike coach and an instructor trainer for many years. I share my knowledge in these videos because I want to help you avoid crashes and become a safer rider. A common reason for crashes, and actually avoidable crashes, is that I see riders who are scared to roll bigger steps and roll downs, then they try to drop the step in the last minute, or they are approaching too fast, they lose control, and then they hurt themselves. And maybe the reason for this is the just send it mentality, and it's something that people want to keep up with, which is why in my videos I aim to share skills with you which will allow you to find a safe way of riding and hopefully to find more fun and flow, although being safe, on the trails. A very common question I get from riders of all levels related to this topic is, how do I know if it's safe for me to roll a step and when do I have to drop it? And of course then there's some riders who say, hey, just send it. Why do you want to learn how to roll the step if you can just drop it? Well, the answer to these questions and being able to perform the skills I will be talking about today will actually make you an incredibly able and versatile rider. And most of all, a rider who's in control of their bike and therefore less prone to crashes. All right, question number one. Up to which height is a step rollable? So up to which height can you roll it, and from which height will it send you over the bars when you try to roll it? Technically, any step is rollable as long as your chainring has clearance. And if you have a full suspension bike, you need to take into account that your suspension will compress as you roll down. So what you can do is get off your bike, obviously check that the trail is clear, that no one is coming, and then you walk your bike down the step and see if you have enough clearance, taking into account the extra clearance you need if you're on a full suspension bike. Although in a hardtail also, since your fork will compress, you also need to take account a little more clearance as well. As long as you're not hitting the chainring on the obstacle and you have that clearance, given that you're using a safe technique, which I teach you here in this video, and I will link it below in the video description, you're fine, then you can roll it. Even if your chainring does touch lightly, especially on a step like this one, which is wood or soil, it's not a big problem, but it should definitely not get caught completely, otherwise it will stop your bike and send you over the bars. So here, for example, you can see that this height is rollable, and you can actually also now see me roll the step in a safe manner. And on this side, for example, you can see that it's not rollable. You would need to drop it because your chainring would totally get caught on the obstacle. Now, question number two, why not just send it? Why do you want to roll it in the first place? Well, the answer to this is actually pretty simple, yet underrated. First of all, to drop a step easily, you need a specific approach speed. If you're approaching pretty slowly, dropping a step safely is a pretty advanced skill, especially for shorter riders and petite women like me, because you need really good technique, precise timing, and more strength, because shorter riders have less leverage in their arms, so they will need more precision and more strength. Here, for example, you can also see that the approach is technical. It's a rut, it's really steep, and probably, especially if you're riding this section for the first time, you'll approach slowly. You'll approach the steps slowly, and then performing an emergency drop in a steep decline at slow speed requires very advanced drop skills. Therefore, if you're approaching slowly, for example on a new trail, or if the section before the step is technical, like here, you can't always drop safely. However, if you're approaching slowly, you can decide that the step is rollable and then roll it. And even if you decide that it's not safe, as you're approaching slowly, you can dismount safely. Well, okay, that is if you've practiced how to dismount safely, how I show in my On Point episode, which is here and which I will be also linking below so you can keep watching this video. In short, reason number one why you want to be able to roll a step safely is that you can roll it even if you are approaching slowly, for example on an unknown trail, and you can also dismount should you decide that it's not rollable. Let's come to reason number two why you should learn how to drop safely. Why you should learn how to roll a step safely. It's because it's a much more trail relevant skill than drops. To drop, you need a higher approach speed, as I said, and most of all, you need a clean run in and a clear run out. In other words, you need to know that there's a safe and grippy area behind the step where you can land. Let's look at this section, for example. If I drop this step, I'll have air time, which means in the air, I cannot reduce my speed. I will gain speed and I'll probably land somewhere down there in the roots, in the rut. It's narrow, there's trees left and right, and there's a corner down there, so I'll need to reduce my speed. It'll get pretty sketchy. If you're riding for a trail for the first time and you don't know what the landing area is like, it's actually pretty dangerous to drop into it blindly. Whereas a roll down is always a safe version. Plus, you can avoid gaining a lot of speed, so you can control your speed all along. Reason number three why you should learn how to roll a step is that there are many situations on a trail where dropping is just not possible. Because, for example, you have many steps in sequence, or for example, there's a super steep section afterwards which you need to enter slowly to avoid losing control, or there's a tight switchback afterwards, or a cliff or whatever. Many situations where dropping is not possible. In other words, being able to execute a roll down safely is an indispensable skill to be able to master technical and steep sections on the trail, because you'll encounter them on almost every trail. And let me tell you one thing. If you think you need to move your bum back, shift your weight rearwards on steps and steeps, then you're going to become a passenger and lose control. If you want to find out what you want to do instead to keep control, then check out the links in the video description below. I really hope this video helps. Let me know whether you liked it by giving me the thumb up and commenting below. And I really hope to see you again for my next video. Goodbye.